The first sign that Earth was no longer alone came on a quiet Tuesday morning. Massive ships appeared in the sky above every major city on the planet. They hung there, silent and still, their dark metal surfaces reflecting the sunlight. John Miller was eating breakfast when his phone rang. As the United States' top diplomat, he knew an early call meant trouble. Within an hour, he was on a helicopter heading to the White House. "Ambassador Miller," said the president, her face pale with worry. "We've been contacted. They want to talk to us." The aliens called themselves the Galactic Council. They said they had watched Earth for decades and decided humans were ready to join their group of advanced species. Their message played on all TVs, radios, and phones around the world. "We come in peace," said a tall, blue-skinned being who introduced himself as High Counselor Zixpon. "The Galactic Council offers friendship and technology beyond your imagination." After the initial shock passed, the world's leaders agreed to meet the aliens. John Miller was chosen to lead the human team. With him was Commander Samantha Wright, a sharp-minded military officer with a talent for seeing what others missed. "I don't trust them," Wright told Miller as they rode to the meeting place. "Nothing in life comes free." Miller nodded. "Keep your eyes open, Commander. I need to know what they're not telling us." The meeting took place in a large room that the aliens had created on top of the United Nations building in New York. 7 different alien species sat around a curved table. Zixpon stood when the humans entered. "Welcome, friends," he said, his voice smooth and practiced. "Today marks the beginning of Earth's rise to greatness." Zixpon showed them amazing things: cures for diseases, clean energy technology, ships that could travel between stars. All these could be Earth's, he said, if they joined the Council as a protectorate state. "What exactly is a protectorate?" Miller asked, noticing how the word seemed carefully chosen. "A developing world under our guidance," Zixpon explained. "We will help you grow, teach you our ways. In return, we ask only for some natural resources and the right to establish bases on your planet." As Miller reviewed the treaty, certain clauses troubled him. The Council would have final say on Earth's space activities. They would control how humans used the new technology, and the resource rights they wanted seemed excessive. While Miller talked with Zixpon, Wright slipped away to look around. Through a window, she saw Council ships moving into new positions around Earth. Their patterns reminded her of military formations she had studied. Defense positions, control points, not the friendly visit they claimed. Later, when the aliens offered a tour of their main ship, Wright noticed something else. The weapons systems were fully active. Guards watched the humans closely, and when she accidentally took a wrong turn, she found a room filled with detailed maps of Earth's resources. "They showed us the fancy rooms, but kept us away from anything important," Wright told Miller that night. "And why do peaceful visitors need so many weapons aimed at our cities?" Miller had his own concerns. The treaty language gave the Council the right to overrule any human government, and the resource agreements would give aliens control of key minerals, water sources, and land. "Tomorrow, we ask harder questions," Miller said. "I think our new friends aren't being honest with us." That night, as Miller studied the treaty again, he found hidden clauses written in technical language designed to confuse. If Earth signed, they would become not partners, but property. Meanwhile, up in orbit, Zixpon spoke to the Council's true leaders. "The humans suspect nothing," he reported. "Soon, their resources will be ours. They are just primitive enough to believe our lies." He didn't realize that humans had survived and thrived through centuries of dealing with those who came with smiles and left with everything. 2 weeks after the aliens arrived, NASA scientist Alan Garcia couldn't sleep. Something about the Council's technology bothered him. Their ships used a communication system that left traces in Earth's atmosphere. With some adjustments to NASA's deep space receivers, he found he could catch bits of their transmissions. Most were in languages he couldn't understand, but some used a simple code the Council taught Earth for basic exchanges. Alan spent 3 nights decoding these messages. What he found made his blood run cold. Resource extraction plans. Minimal resistance expected. Complete operation within 5 Earth years. Ellen called his friend and colleague, Dr. Lisa Patel. She worked in the new Joint Human-Alien Research Center in Colorado. I need you to check something in their database, he told her. Look for records of other worlds they've brought into the Council. Lisa had been given limited access to Council historical records as part of her work. The aliens claimed this was to help humans understand galactic culture, but they carefully controlled what humans could see. Lisa found a way around their restrictions. Late at night, when the alien supervisors were gone, she connected her computer directly to their system. What she found confirmed Alan's fears. Planet after planet had followed the same pattern. First contact. Promises of advancement. Treaties that seemed fair at first glance. Then, within a few years, each world was stripped of resources. Some species were relocated to work camps. Others were simply abandoned on dying worlds. We need to tell someone, Lisa said when she met Alan the next day. The Council isn't helping us. They're farming us. They brought their evidence to John Miller and Samantha Wright. The four met in a small room that Wright had checked for listening devices. This matches what I've been seeing, Wright said. Their ships are positioned to control, not protect. And they've been mapping all our military installations. Miller looked grim. I've been getting reports from around the world. The Council is setting up mining operations they claim are scientific outposts. When questioned, they give different explanations to different governments. They decided Miller would confront Zix Vaughn with their concerns. The meeting took place in the aliens' luxurious quarters on their main ship. High Counselor, we found disturbing information, Miller began. Your communications suggest you plan to take Earth's resources by force. Zix Vaughn's face showed no emotion. You misunderstand, Ambassador. Those communications refer to helping Earth develop its potential. Your primitive technology cannot properly translate our concepts. And what about the worlds you've stripped bare? The species you've enslaved or abandoned? For a moment, Zix Vaughn's smooth manner cracked. His eyes narrowed, and his voice hardened. You should not have access to those records. They are beyond your clearance. Then, as quickly as it appeared, the anger vanished. Zix Vaughn smiled. Those were special cases, worlds that violated our treaties. Earth is different. We see you as valuable partners. Miller didn't believe him. As he left the meeting, he noticed more Council ships arriving in Earth orbit. That night, the Council leaders met in secret. The humans have accessed restricted information, Zix Vaughn reported. They are more clever than we expected. An elder Council member growled. It doesn't matter. They are still primitive. Their weapons cannot touch our ships. Move ahead with the plan, but faster. What if they resist? Asked another. Zix Vaughn laughed. With what? Their missiles cannot reach orbit when we activate our shields. Their communications will be ours to control. By the time they realize what's happening, it will be too late. Back on Earth, Alan and Lisa worked through the night. They found a way to access more of the Council's database. They discovered the aliens had done this to 17 other worlds. None of those worlds existed anymore. We need to warn everyone, Alan said. The clock is ticking. Word spread quietly among world leaders. Evidence of the Council's true plans moved through secure channels. Reports came in from every continent about strange activities at the alien outposts. Navy Captain Eric Russell was patrolling the Pacific when he spotted 3 Council ships hovering over the ocean. They weren't in any approved zones. His orders were to watch but not engage. They're mapping something, Russell told his crew as they observed from a safe distance. See how they're moving in a grid pattern. The ships were scanning deep underwater, right where critical communication cables ran across the ocean floor. Similar reports came from the Atlantic, the Mediterranean, and the Indian Ocean. In space, satellite engineer Nicole Davidson noticed odd behavior too. From her station at the International Space Station, she watched Council vessels deploying small objects into Earth orbit. "Those aren't satellites," she reported after analyzing their signals. "They're some kind of jammers. They could block all our communications if activated." Ambassador Miller called an emergency meeting at the United Nations. Representatives from 50 countries gathered in secret. They shared similar stories. The Council had established bases near power plants, water sources, and mineral deposits. When questioned, the aliens gave different explanations to different governments. "They're dividing us," Miller explained, "telling each country something different so we won't compare notes." The Council noticed the increased communication between Earth's nations. They responded by restricting access to their technology. "For security reasons," Zix Von explained smoothly, "we must temporarily limit your use of certain systems. You'll have full access again soon." But humans found ways around these limitations. Dr. Patel discovered she could still access parts of the Council database. Through older computer systems, the aliens didn't consider a threat. Alan Garcia kept monitoring their communications, learning more of their language each day. Wright organized a secret network of military observers around the world. They documented every Council ship, every alien movement. The pattern was clear. The aliens were preparing for something big. One morning, the Council announced new safety protocols. All human ships had to stay within 100 miles of shore. Aircraft couldn't fly above 10,000 feet. And most concerning, the aliens wanted lists of all military personnel and equipment. "For your protection," they said. No one believed them anymore. Russia, China, and the United States began quietly moving key military assets to hidden locations. European nations did the same. For perhaps the first time in history, the world's powers worked together without public announcements or political posturing. Captain Russell's submarine disappeared from official tracking systems, so did dozens of others from navies around the world. They moved to predetermined positions, waiting. In underground bunkers, scientists worked with military engineers to understand the alien technology. Every bit of information from Patel and Garcia helped them piece together how Council systems worked. They found surprising weaknesses. Their ships used a standard frequency for all communications, Garcia explained to military leaders. "If we could disrupt that frequency." Meanwhile, Ambassador Miller kept up appearances with the Council. He smiled at their meetings. He pretended to believe their excuses, all while helping coordinate Earth's hidden resistance. Zix Von suspected something. The humans were too calm, too accepting of the new restrictions. He ordered more surveillance, more ships to Earth orbit. "They are primitive, but not stupid," he told the Council. "We should move faster." The elder members agreed. They set a date. In 1 month, they would drop all pretense. Earth would be officially reclassified as a resource world. Its inhabitants would have no rights under Council law. "The humans won't know what hit them," Zix Von said. But humans were already preparing their response. In secret facilities around the world, they readied for a fight the Council never expected to face. The Council didn't wait a month. 3 weeks after imposing their safety protocols, they made their move. Every TV, radio, and phone on Earth broadcast the same message. Zix Von's face appeared, his expression cold and businesslike. "People of Earth, the Galactic Council has reclassified your world as a resource planet. You will now provide materials according to the quotas we set. Resistance will not be tolerated." The message listed demands: 30% of all food production, 50% of all mined minerals, full access to all water sources, and population control measures to reduce human numbers to sustainable levels. World leaders immediately rejected these demands. The President of the United States, the leaders of China, Russia, and the European Union all issued statements refusing to comply. The Council's response was swift. From orbit, their ships fired precise energy beams at military bases around the world. Key command centers, missile silos, air bases, all hit within minutes. Thousands died. More were injured. Earth's most powerful weapons were disabled before they could be used. Ambassador Miller and his team were on the Council's main ship when this happened. They had been invited for important talks. Now they found themselves prisoners. "You lied to us from the beginning," Miller told Zixfon. The alien didn't deny it. "It's nothing personal, Ambassador. Just business. Your world has resources we need. Your species is in our way." Commander Wright wasn't with the diplomatic team. She had stayed on Earth, suspicious of the sudden invitation. When the attacks began, she was at a secondary command center in the Rocky Mountains. "They've hit our main bases," a general told her, "but they missed this one and several others. They don't know about our backup facilities." Wright took command of what remained of Earth's military forces. "They think they've won," she said. "That gives us one advantage: surprise." Meanwhile, the Council began landing ships around the world. Huge vessels touched down near major cities. Smaller craft started setting up mining operations. Aliens in protective suits walked Earth's surface, looking at humans like they were nothing more than insects. In secret bunkers around the world, the resistance organized. Captain Russell's submarines remained hidden in the deep ocean, undetected by Council sensors. Nickel Davidson worked with other engineers to reprogram satellites the aliens hadn't destroyed. Dr. Patel and Alan Garcia continued analyzing Council technology, looking for weaknesses. What they found gave Earth hope. Their shields operate on predictable cycles, Garcia explained to Wright over a secure line. "There's a 3-second gap when they reset. If we time it right, we could get through." Patel made another discovery. "Their ships are vulnerable to certain electromagnetic frequencies. We could disable their systems without destroying the ships." Wright drew up a plan. It would require coordination between forces around the world. Timing would be critical. One mistake, and the Council would crush what remained of Earth's resistance. On the Council's main ship, Miller and his team were held in comfortable but secure quarters. Through a window, he could see Earth below. Council ships moved freely around the planet. It looked like the aliens had won. But Miller noticed something. Small explosions in certain areas. Power outages at Council mining sites. Signs that humans weren't giving up. Zixfon noticed too. He visited Miller's quarters, angry. "Your people are causing trouble," he said. "Tell them to stop, or we will begin eliminating major population centers." Miller met his gaze calmly. "I have no way to communicate with Earth. You've seen to that." Zixfon leaned close. "For your sake, hope they surrender soon." After the alien left, Miller smiled to himself. He had seen enough to know that Earth was fighting back. And knowing humans, the Council had no idea what was coming. On the surface, humans appeared to accept defeat. Workers went to the fields and factories under alien supervision. People kept their heads down when Council patrols passed. The aliens relaxed, believing they had broken Earth's spirit. They were wrong. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Lisa Patel led a team of scientists working around the clock. They had smuggled pieces of alien technology from Council outposts. Now they took these apart, studied how they worked, and put them back together in new ways. "Their systems are actually quite simple," Patel explained to Commander Wright. "They'd been using the same technology for thousands of years. They stopped innovating because no one challenged them." In another section of the underground base, Alan Garcia made a key discovery. "Their ships use quantum communication," he told Wright. "It's faster than light and impossible to block. But it has a weakness. If we send the right signal, we can create a feedback loop that will crash their entire network." This was the advantage humans had. They were used to adapting, to finding new solutions. The Council had become comfortable and overconfident. Captain Russell's submarines became Earth's secret weapon. Hidden underwater, they could move around the planet undetected. Council sensors were designed to look for threats from the air or space, not from beneath the oceans. Russell helped coordinate attacks on Council mining operations. Small teams would strike suddenly, disable equipment, and disappear before reinforcements arrived. They didn't try to destroy the aliens. Just slow them down and gather more technology to study. From the International Space Station, Nicol Davidson found a way to use remaining Earth satellites to create a hidden communication network. The Council controlled the main satellite systems, but they ignored older equipment they thought was outdated. Davidson reprogrammed these to carry secret messages between resistance groups. Wright devised a battle plan using all these discoveries. "We can't match their technology," she told Earth's remaining military leaders. "But we can use their own systems against them. We don't need to beat all of them, just enough to make them reconsider." The plan required precise timing and perfect coordination. Davidson's satellite network would synchronize forces around the world. Russell's submarines would deliver special weapons to key points near Council bases. Patel's team would provide the technology to make it all work. On the Council mothership, Ambassador Miller continued to gather information. Though a prisoner, he was allowed to move around certain areas of the ship. The aliens didn't think he could understand their technology or communications, but Miller had a perfect memory and reported everything he saw to his fellow captives. "They're getting nervous," he told them after overhearing a conversation between officers. "Our resistance is more effective than they expected. They're calling for reinforcements, but the nearest ships are months away." Miller also learned the Council was divided. Some members wanted to simply destroy Earth's major cities to end the resistance. Others argued the planet's resources would be contaminated by such attacks. This disagreement gave Earth precious time. In his private quarters, Zix Von received troubling reports. His mining operations were falling behind schedule. Equipment mysteriously failed. Human workers sabotaged projects in ways that were hard to detect until too late. "They're primitives," he shouted at his officers. "How are they causing so much trouble?" He didn't understand that humans had been fighting against stronger enemies throughout their history. They had practice at being the underdogs. Wright set a date for the main counterattack. Earth would have one chance to show the Council they had made a terrible mistake. If they failed, the aliens would destroy humanity out of spite. If they succeeded, they might just save their world. 3 days, Wright told her commanders. Then we show them what humans can really do. The day of Earth's counterattack began with a message. Every screen controlled by the Council suddenly showed the face of President Susan Baker. The aliens tried to block the broadcast, but Davidson's team had taken control of their communication systems. "People of Earth, stand ready," Baker said. "And to the Galactic Council, this is our final warning. Leave our planet now, or face the consequences." On the Council mothership, Zix Von laughed as he watched. "Such empty threats," he told his officers. "What could they possibly do to us?" He ordered his ships to prepare for a show of force. They would destroy a few small cities as an example. That would crush this human rebellion. But as Council ships moved into position around the world, strange things began to happen. Their navigation systems failed first. Ships that should have been over Beijing found themselves off course by hundreds of miles. Weapons targeting systems showed phantom targets or no targets at all. "What's happening?" Zix Von demanded. His technical officer looked confused. "Some kind of virus in our network. It's using our own quantum communication to spread." This was Garcia's work. The signal he designed created chaos in the Council's network. Every attempt to fix it only spread the virus faster. Next came Russell's attack. His submarines surfaced near Council ships around the world. Each launched what looked like simple missiles, but these contained the electromagnetic pulse weapons Patel had developed. When they detonated, they didn't explode. Instead, they released precisely tuned energy waves that passed right through Council shields during their 3-second reset window. Ship after ship lost power. Some drifted in orbit. Others made emergency landings. Some crashed into the ocean, where Russell's submarines were waiting to capture survivors and technology. Zix Von watched in horror as reports came in from around the world. 80% of his force was disabled in the first hour. "Impossible," he shouted. "They're primitives. They can't do this." Then came Phase 3 of Wright's plan. Thousands of small drones, built in secret factories and equipped with Council technology, swarmed the remaining alien ships. They attached themselves to hull plates and began cutting through to critical systems. On the ground, human resistance fighters emerged from hiding. They attacked Council bases with weapons designed to disable rather than destroy. They took alien prisoners but treated them humanely. President Baker broadcast another message, this one directed at the Council mothership. "This was a demonstration," she said calmly. "We could have destroyed your entire force. Instead, we disabled your ships and spared your people. You have 24 hours to release our ambassador and withdraw from Earth. If you refuse, or if you harm any more humans, what comes next will make this look like a warm-up." On the mothership, the Council leaders argued bitterly. "We should glass their planet from orbit," one shouted. "With what ships?" another countered. "Most of our fleet is disabled." Zixvan paced back and forth. "We need time. Our reinforcements will arrive in 2 months. We can hold out until then." But even as they argued, more problems arose. The virus had spread to the mothership's systems. Life support was failing in some sections, and the human prisoners, led by Ambassador Miller, had somehow escaped their quarters. Miller made his way to the bridge using the knowledge he had gathered during his captivity. He walked in just as the Council was arguing about what to do next. "Gentlemen," he said, making them all turn in surprise, "I suggest you consider President Baker's offer very carefully. I've seen what my people have planned if you refuse." Zixvan glared at him. "And what would that be, human?" Miller smiled. "We're coming for your homeworlds next." For 23 hours, the Council leaders debated. Some wanted to fight to the end. Others saw the wisdom in retreat. Zixvan remained certain that humans were bluffing. "They'd used everything they have," he insisted. "They can't possibly reach our homeworlds." Then, 1 hour before President Baker's deadline, 3 things happened that changed everything. First, Davidson's team took complete control of the Council's communication network. They'd broadcast images throughout the galaxy showing Council ships being defeated by a supposedly primitive species. Second, Dr. Patel sent data to thousands of worlds that had been exploited by the Council. Her message included proof of the Council's systematic betrayal of younger species and instructions on how to disable Council technology. Third, Captain Russell's submarines launched special satellites. These opened jump portals near several Council homeworlds, something the aliens had claimed was impossible for human technology. The portals stayed open just long enough to show that Earth could reach them. Zixvan received frantic messages from his homeworld. "How do they have portal technology?" His planetary leader demanded. "You said they were centuries away from such discoveries." The Council surrendered 30 minutes before the deadline. They agreed to withdraw all forces from Earth, release all human prisoners, and recognize Earth's independence. As Council ships limped away from Earth orbit, Miller met with Wright, Patel, Garcia, Russell, and Davidson in the White House. President Baker joined them to hear what they had learned. "The Council has exploited dozens of worlds," Miller explained. "Some species were enslaved. Others were left to die when their planets were stripped of resources." Patel opened a holographic display showing these worlds. "Many of these species are still out there, living under Council control. They saw our broadcast. They know rebellion is possible now." "What happens next?" President Baker asked. Wright looked thoughtful. "The Council will be in chaos. Member species will question their leadership. This gives us time to prepare." "For what?" Baker asked. "For the future," Garcia said. "We've learned so much from their technology, but we've improved it in ways they never imagined. We can build ships that could reach other stars." Russell nodded. "And we should. The galaxy is full of species like us, victims of the Council. We could help them." Baker considered this. "You're suggesting we become the opposite of the Council. Not conquerors, but liberators. And partners," Davidson added. "We've already received messages from 3 worlds wanting to form alliances. They're tired of the Council's ways." 1 month later, Earth launched its first true starship. Built with a combination of human ingenuity and adapted Council technology, it was faster and more efficient than anything the aliens had created. Ambassador Miller led this mission. With him went scientists, diplomats, and military personnel. Their goal was to contact other species who had suffered under Council rule. The Council tried to block Earth's efforts. They spread lies about humans being dangerous and violent, but their reputation was already damaged. Few believed them anymore. Within a year, a new alliance formed. 6 species, including humans, agreed to share knowledge and resources. They called themselves the Galactic Cooperation. Their founding principle was simple: all members were equal, and all decisions required consensus. On the day the alliance was formalized, Miller stood before representatives of all 6 species. The Council's betrayal doomed them, he said. Their greed and cruelty created the very force that brought them down. They never understood that true strength comes from cooperation, not domination. As he spoke, more ships arrived from other worlds seeking to join the alliance. The stars, once a place of danger for humanity, had become a frontier of opportunity. And somewhere in the galaxy, Zixvan watched news of the growing alliance with bitter understanding. Humans hadn't just defeated the Council's ships. They had defeated their entire way of thinking.